The small human colony on the edge of Empire-controlled space was usually quiet. Ships came and went, traders shouted prices, and the smell of engine oil mixed with fried food from corner stalls. Life was simple here, but it suited Aiden, a human mechanic, perfectly. He liked machines more than people, and his little workshop at the end of the colony's main street was his safe place. Aiden was bending under the hull of a hovering transport drone when a sudden shimmer of light caught his attention. Looking up, he saw a sleek, elegant ship descending. Its design was nothing like human technology. Smooth curves, glowing panels, and markings that glowed faintly in the dim sun. This was an Imperial vessel, and judging by the emblem, it belonged to the Empire's royal family. Aiden straightened, wiping grease from his hands. "Not good," he muttered. Imperial ships didn't land here without reason. The colony had learned to stay quiet when one appeared. The landing gear of the ship touched the ground softly. A hatch hissed open and a figure stepped out. Aiden froze. She was taller than most humans, with pale skin that seemed almost luminous under the sunlight. Her silver hair shimmered as if it caught the light itself, and her uniform, ornate but practical, marked her as someone important, very important. And then he noticed her eyes, bright, intelligent, and curious. They scanned the colony, but when they landed on him, they lingered for a moment too long. The princess smiled, a small, almost mischievous curve of her lips. "Hello," she said, her voice calm and musical. Aiden cleared his throat. Hello?" he replied, unsure if he should bow, salute, or just run away. "I seem to have trouble with my ship," she said, glancing at the hull that glowed faintly. Sparks had begun to flicker from one of the panels. Aiden's heart skipped. Helping a royal? Dangerous? Yet fascinating. Humans weren't known for close contact with the Empire's royalty. I can take a look," he said finally. She nodded. "Please." The princess followed him into the workshop. Inside, she looked around with genuine interest. She noticed his tools, his cluttered workbench, the small hollow screens showing schematics of engines and drones. Aiden felt uneasy under her gaze. Few humans were curious about this sort of detail, but she seemed different. "I've never seen machines worked on like this," she said softly. "Your techniques, human ingenuity is fascinating." Aiden scratched his head. "Thanks. I guess. I just do what works." The princess knelt beside the damaged panel. She didn't touch it, but her eyes were sharp, watching every movement he made. Sparks flew as Aiden connected wires and replaced a malfunctioning conduit. He noticed how careful she was, how she didn't interrupt, but seemed genuinely intrigued. Minutes turned into an hour. Finally, the panel hummed steadily, lights glowing in perfect synchronization. The princess's lips curved into a delighted smile. "You fixed it," she said, quickly and cleverly. Aiden blinked. Yeah, all in a day's work." She stood, her silver hair brushing his shoulder. "I should go, but I find I don't want to leave just yet." Her voice held a strange note of sincerity, almost like a confession. Aiden's mind spun. Humans were supposed to avoid royalty, not have them linger. It's an honor, ma'am, but I'm not just any royal," she said, her gaze meeting his. "I am the new princess, and I think I like you." Aiden froze. His brain tried to process the words, but it stumbled over itself. The new princess, Empire royalty, liked him? He was just a mechanic, a nobody from a quiet human colony. The princess smiled, but there was seriousness too. "I know this is unexpected, but I cannot leave yet. Not until I understand humans like you. So, I will stay." Aiden swallowed hard. You You mean here in the colony? People will talk. The Empire. She shook her head. Let them talk. Here, I am free, and you are clever, brave, and practical. Things the Empire rarely notices in its humans. Aiden felt a strange warmth in his chest. No one had ever looked at him like that before. Not his friends, not anyone. And yet, the princess's attention was heavy with intent, not just curiosity. He glanced outside. Imperial guards were not far, but they hadn't come in. Perhaps they trusted her judgment, or perhaps they didn't yet notice her delay. You shouldn't stay too long, he said finally. People might get suspicious. I will stay as long as I wish, she replied softly, almost teasing. Her gaze was firm. And I wish to stay. Aiden's heart raced. He didn't understand what this meant yet. A royal princess defying protocol to linger in a human colony. It was unheard of, dangerous, yet thrilling. Okay, he stammered. If you insist, I guess I can show you around a little. The princess's eyes sparkled. I would like that very much. As she followed him outside, Aiden could feel the colony's normal rhythm continuing, oblivious to the strange tension building. Traders shouted, children played, and the sun shone on the metallic roofs. Yet, for Aiden, nothing felt normal anymore. He led her past the small market stalls, showing her how humans bartered, how engines were repaired in open spaces, and even how children made small hover toys from scraps. She watched everything with wonder, asking questions, laughing softly, and occasionally catching his hand to steady herself when the terrain was rough. Aiden's mind kept repeating the same thought. The Empire's princess is here, and she likes me. By the time they returned to his workshop, Aiden realized one thing clearly. His life had just changed forever. Whatever challenges were coming, he would face them. Not because he wanted adventure, but because the princess would not let him go. And for the first time, Aiden didn't mind being caught in something bigger than himself. After that first afternoon, Aiden's life became anything but ordinary. The princess stayed in the colony longer than anyone expected. She wandered through the streets with him, laughing at small human inventions, asking questions about machines, about markets, about people. Other colonists stared, but said little. Humans had long learned to respect the Empire's royals, mostly out of fear, but this princess moved as if she belonged nowhere yet everywhere. And she seemed to like the simple life humans lived. One morning as Aiden cleaned the workshop, the princess arrived before he opened. Her silver hair glimmered in the early light, and her eyes held that same curious intensity. "Good morning," she said. "Are you ready to show me more today?" Aiden blinked. Sure. Where to?" She smiled and gestured toward the small hoverports at the edge of the colony. "The engineers there make engines for the traders' ships. I want to see their methods. And maybe learn a thing or two from you as well." Aiden felt a mixture of pride and nervousness. Humans were proud of their ingenuity, but exposing it to Empire royalty could be risky. Still, the princess's fascination seemed genuine. "All right, follow me," he said, trying to act confident. As they walked, the princess asked questions about everything. "Why do humans prefer simple tools?" she asked. "Wouldn't advanced technology make life easier?" Aiden chuckled. "Sometimes simple is better. Simple works, even when things fail. Humans fix things with what they have. We adapt. That's how we survive." She studied him closely. "You are very clever," she said. "Clever humans are rare in the Empire. Most are just ordinary. But you see solutions where others see problems. Aiden felt heat rise to his cheeks. Compliments from royalty were rare, and genuine ones were almost unheard of. "Thanks. I guess I just like solving problems," he replied, scratching the back of his neck. At the hoverports, they watched human engineers adjust engines, fix broken conduits, and test small ships. The princess knelt beside them, examining every tool, every spark. She asked questions, scribbled notes on a small hollow pad, and occasionally exchanged a look with Aiden, a silent signal of shared understanding. "You humans think differently," she said softly. "You improvise. You risk failure. Yet, it works more often than not. I admire that." Aiden smiled. "It's not magic, just common sense and persistence." As the day passed, word of the princess's presence spread. Some traders whispered behind their hands, some children stared openly, and a few guards lingered at the edges, suspicious but unsure how to act. The princess didn't seem worried. She moved with quiet confidence, as if the rules of the empire didn't matter here. By mid-afternoon, they returned to the workshop. Aiden's small dog, a mechanical hybrid he had built himself, barked happily at the princess. She laughed, kneeling to pet it, and the sound made Aiden smile too. "I like this place," she said quietly, almost to herself. "It feels alive, honest." Aiden felt a strange flutter in his chest. Humans were used to strangers and royalty keeping distance, but this princess, she seemed to trust him already, and perhaps she cared. The next morning, things changed. Imperial messengers arrived in the colony, sleek ships landing on the outskirts. Aiden watched nervously as the guards approached, their faces serious. "Princess," one said, bowing slightly, "the council has issued orders. You are to return immediately. Your presence among humans is inappropriate." The princess stood, tall, her silver hair catching the sunlight. "I am aware," she said calmly, "but I have reasons to stay. I am not leaving yet." The messenger's eyes widened. "You understand this is a direct command from the Emperor?" "I understand," she replied, her voice steady. "And I refuse. For now, I will remain here." Aiden's stomach tightened. The Empire's council rarely allowed defiance. Any human associated with such defiance could be in danger. Yet, the princess seemed fearless. You might be in danger," Aiden said quietly, concern evident in his voice. She reached out, placing a hand on his arm. "I trust you. Humans are stronger than the Empire thinks. Clever humans like you can face challenges even I cannot predict." Aiden swallowed hard. "I'm just a mechanic. I don't fight or command ships or anything." "You adapt," she said simply. "That is enough. That is what makes humans remarkable. And you are remarkable." For a moment, Aiden didn't speak. He could barely believe what she was saying. Yet looking into her eyes, he saw sincerity. She wasn't teasing. She wasn't playing. She was serious. Over the next days, the princess began to spend even more time in the colony. She helped repair small ships, observed trade negotiations, and even assisted Aiden in redesigning some human drones for better efficiency. They shared stories of their worlds, laughed at misunderstandings, and began to form a bond deeper than either had expected. But the presence of Imperial guards and messengers always loomed in the background, a silent reminder of the risk. Aiden worried constantly, but the princess never wavered. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the colony, the princess and Aiden sat on a small rooftop, looking at the stars. "Do you ever feel trapped by duty?" Aiden asked quietly. She nodded. "Every day, being a princess is complicated. I have expectations, rules, responsibilities. But being here, with you, I feel free." Aiden hesitated, then said, "And me? Do I make you feel free?" She smiled, her gaze soft. "Yes. Humans have something the Empire cannot understand. Courage, curiosity, and the will to choose. I want that for myself." Aiden felt his heart pound. For the first time, he realized that this princess, someone the entire Empire revered, was choosing him. Not duty, not protocol, not power. Him. And in that moment, he understood one truth. His life had changed forever. The princess was not leaving, and neither could he let her go. The day began quietly, but Aiden knew it wouldn't stay that way. Rumors spread quickly in the colony, and whispers of the princess's defiance had already reached the ears of the Empire's council. Humans in the streets stared openly. Some, curious, some wary, and Imperial messengers had been seen moving faster than usual. Aiden wiped grease from his hands and glanced at the sky, worried. "This isn't going to end quietly," he muttered. The princess was in the workshop studying one of Aiden's drone designs. Her fingers traced the lines of the small machine carefully, her eyes thoughtful. "Humans have such strange ideas," she said softly. "Yet, they work. I admire your world." Aiden shrugged. "We survive, that's all. We fix what's broken and keep going. You'd be surprised how far it takes you." A sharp knock on the workshop door interrupted them. Aiden opened it to see two Imperial guards, their expressions grim. They bowed slightly. "Princess," one said, "orders from the council. You are to return immediately to the capital. Failure to comply will result in consequences for those aiding you." The princess rose, calm and composed. "I am aware of the orders," she said. Her gaze shifted to Aiden. "And I will not go. Not yet." The guard's eyes widened. "You understand the consequences, Your Highness. Your companions—" "I understand," she interrupted, voice firm. "He is no threat. Humans like him are clever, brave, and capable, and I trust him. I will remain in this colony." Aiden felt his chest tighten. Imperial wrath was serious. Humans had no protection against it, especially not those who drew the attention of royalty. Yet, the princess was unafraid. The guards hesitated, then bowed. "As you wish, Your Highness, but know the council watches." With that, they left. Once the door closed, Aiden exhaled slowly. "You could have gotten us both in serious trouble," he said, worry clear in his voice. The princess smiled softly. "Maybe, but I cannot ignore what I feel, or what I see. Humans are extraordinary, and I care about you." Aiden's heart thumped. Care? From the Empire's princess? He couldn't stop staring. I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything," she replied. "Just be yourself. That is enough." Despite the tension, Aiden found himself smiling. For once, the dangerous world beyond the colony seemed distant. They spent the morning working on machines, the princess learning quickly under his guidance. She asked questions, made notes, and even suggested small improvements. Aiden was amazed. She had a natural talent for understanding mechanics, something few humans mastered. By midday, word arrived that the council was sending more envoys. This time they brought not just words, but plans. Plans to remove the human and bring the princess back by force if necessary. Aiden felt a chill. "They're serious," he said. "This isn't just a warning." The princess nodded. "I know, but humans, like you, can think differently. You can protect what you care about even when the odds seem impossible." He glanced at her, determination building. "Then we'll find a way. I don't know how yet, but we will." That afternoon, as the twin suns dipped toward the horizon, The colony's peace shattered. A fleet of Imperial scouts appeared in orbit, scanning the settlement. Their presence was menacing. Sleek, heavily armed ships glinting in the fading light. The princess's eyes narrowed. "They underestimate humans," she said, "and that is their mistake." Aiden's mind raced. He was not a soldier, not a warrior, but he knew his world, his machines, and his ability to adapt. "We'll need to be clever," he said. "Use what we have and outsmart them." The princess's smile was quiet, confident. "I knew you'd say that. Humans think in ways the Empire cannot predict." Together, they worked quickly. Aiden modified small drones to act as decoys, creating signals that mimicked the larger ship's communication patterns. He reinforced the workshop's shielding, created hidden pathways, and programmed automated repairs for critical systems. Every move was practical, precise, and human. As night fell, the first Imperial scouts approached. Their weapons glowed faintly as they scanned for life signs in the princess's ship. But thanks to Aiden's quick thinking, the signals they received were false. Drones whirred silently, mimicking activity, while the princess remained safely inside the workshop. The scouts hesitated, their sensors confused. "No trace of the princess," one reported. "She may have left the colony." "She is here," the princess whispered to Aiden. "And they do not see us." Aiden smiled faintly. "Humans are good at hiding when it matters," he said. Hours passed, the colony quiet but tense. The princess and Aiden monitored the fleet from hidden observation points. The Imperial ships eventually moved on, frustrated by what they assumed was a clever escape or misdirection. When silence returned, Aiden exhaled, exhaustion mixing with relief. "We did it," he said, finally allowing himself to relax. The princess reached out, touching his arm gently. "You are remarkable," she said. "Not just clever, but brave. Humans truly are extraordinary." Aiden shook his head. "I just did what I had to do. Anyone would." "No," she said firmly. "Not anyone. You. You are different. That is why I am here." As they looked out over the colony, stars twinkling above, Aiden realized the truth he could no longer ignore. Life with the princess would never be simple. The Empire would challenge them. Danger would always be near. Yet with her by his side, he felt ready. Ready to face whatever came. And the princess? She had chosen him, not for power, not for loyalty, but for who he was. That was something the Empire could not control. Tonight, humans and royalty shared a small victory, a reminder that courage and cleverness could defy even the most powerful forces. And for Aiden, one thing was certain. The princess would not let him go, and he would not let her face the Empire alone. The following morning, Aiden knew the quiet was over. Imperial scouts had returned, more numerous this time, signaling that the council was no longer sending warnings, they were sending action. He glanced at the princess as she adjusted the small tools on the workshop bench. Her silver hair caught the light, and her calm demeanor was striking. She didn't appear scared. Instead, she seemed ready. "We need to move," Aiden said quietly. "The scouts will bring reinforcements soon. If we stay, the Empire will capture you, and me too." The princess nodded. "I know. I trust you, Aiden. Lead the way." Together, they prepared a small, human-modified ship that Aiden had been experimenting on. Its hull was reinforced, the engines boosted beyond standard human specs, and hidden compartments held tools and supplies for repairs and misdirection. It wasn't much compared to Imperial warships, but it was clever. That was what humans did. They used intelligence, not size alone. By nightfall, they launched quietly. The ship hummed as it left the colony, cloaked in low-light camouflage. Imperial sensors searched, but Aiden's modifications created false readings, making it appear that no ship had left at all. The princess sat beside him, her silver hair brushing her shoulder. "You humans are amazing," she said softly. "You can make so little seem like so much." Aiden smiled faintly, keeping one eye on the scanners. "We survive by being smart. The Empire doesn't expect us to think like this, so we can outsmart them." As they traveled through the outer systems, the Imperial scouts caught up. The fleet's sensors finally recognized a ship moving beyond the colony. Red warning lights blinked, and commands were sent to intercept. "They see us," Aiden said, tightening his grip on the controls. The princess leaned forward, scanning the data panels. "Then we will make them think we are something we are not. Humans are unpredictable. That is our advantage," Aiden nodded. He had spent years modifying drones, testing small engines, and learning to improvise. Now, every skill mattered. He released decoy drones ahead of them, each transmitting signals mimicking a larger, heavily armed ship. Imperial scouts hesitated, scanning, unsure if the targets were real or trickery. "Nice work," the princess said, her eyes shining. "Humans think in ways they cannot predict," Aiden smirked. "Thanks, but stay ready. They won't give up easily." The first scouts moved in cautiously. Their weapons glowed faintly, scanning for signatures. Aiden's drones created false images of engines and weapons, mimicking the ship's heat and energy output. Every move was a deception, calculated and precise. The princess leaned closer. "Your mind, it is as sharp as your hands." Aiden glanced at her. "You think I can do this because of me?" "No. Humans work together, adapt and improvise. That's what makes us dangerous in ways the Empire cannot understand." Hours passed as the chase continued. The scouts fired warning beams, attempting to scan for weak points, but Aiden's improvisation kept them confused. He directed drones to mimic escape routes, sending false signals in multiple directions. The fleet became disoriented, unsure. Which ship was the real target? At one point, an Imperial fighter appeared directly ahead, weapons locked. Aiden's heart raced. "Hold on," he said. He pushed the controls, and the ship twisted in a sharp, unexpected move. The fighter fired, missing by mere meters. Aiden's human reflexes, combined with the ship's modifications, allowed them to slip past. The princess's hand brushed his arm. "Clever," she whispered. "I would have never expected that." Aiden laughed nervously. "It's all about thinking faster than they do." As the fleet struggled to track them, Aiden guided the ship toward an asteroid belt. The dense rocks and tight passages were risky, but humans were good at improvising. Using the terrain, the ship dodged enemy sensors, weaving between massive rocks, while decoy drones created false trails elsewhere. "Humans are fearless," the princess said, awe in her voice. "You risk everything for survival and freedom." "I admire that," Aiden glanced at her. "Freedom is worth risk, and right now, your freedom matters more than anything." The fleet, frustrated and confused, finally broke off pursuit temporarily, calling in reinforcements. Aiden exhaled, relief mixing with exhaustion. The ship glided silently through the asteroid belt, hidden from view. "Not bad for a human mechanic," the princess said, leaning back, clearly impressed. "You are clever, brave, and reliable. I see now why I cannot leave you behind." Aiden shook his head. "I'm just doing my job. But I have to admit, this feels like something more. Something important." She smiled, eyes soft. "It is important. What we are doing, what we are choosing, it defies expectations. We are showing the Empire that humans are not to be underestimated." Night passed, the twin suns rising again, painting the asteroids in silver and orange. Aiden navigated the ship to a hidden outpost used by neutral traders, a place far enough from Imperial reach to rest, refuel, and plan. Once they landed, the Princess stepped out, stretching after the long, tense journey. "We made it," she said. "Thanks to you." Aiden watched her, admiration and concern mixed in his eyes. "You don't know how dangerous it still is. The Empire won't give up." She reached out, placing her hand gently on his shoulder. "I know, but humans have something they do not expect: cleverness, courage, and the will to act when it matters most. You have all three. That is why I trust you." Aiden felt a swell of pride. Humans were underestimated across the galaxy, often dismissed as weak or primitive. Yet here, using nothing but intellect, courage, and quick thinking, they had outsmarted a fleet. And the princess, the Empire's new ruler-in-waiting, had chosen him as an equal, a partner, someone to trust completely. For the first time, Aiden understood that their journey would be dangerous, unpredictable, and full of challenges, but it was worth it. They were human and royal, clever and brave, facing an empire that had never expected them to fight back. And as they sat on the ship's deck, watching distant stars glimmer through the asteroid belt, Aiden knew one truth: the Empire had met its match. Humans were not to be underestimated, and the princess would never let him go. Aiden guided the ship through the asteroid belt, keeping a careful eye on the scanners. Imperial ships had not followed, at least not yet, but he knew they would not give up easily. The princess remained at his side, her silver hair glowing softly in the dim light of the cockpit. "Where are we going?" she asked, her voice calm but curious. "There's a station not far from here," Aiden explained. "Neutral territory, traders, smugglers, and humans who've had their own problems with the Empire. We can hide, rest, and figure out our next move." The princess nodded. "It will be good to see how humans and others survive outside the Empire's rules. I want to learn, and I want to help." By evening, they reached the station. It was a massive floating structure, worn but bustling with life. Ships of every size and species docked and departed. Humans worked alongside aliens, repairing engines, trading goods, and sharing stories of survival. As they approached the docking bay, Aiden felt a mixture of relief and tension. The princess's presence here could create suspicion, but the station's inhabitants were outsiders, those who did not bow to the Empire. Perhaps they would accept her. The moment the ship touched the docking platform, they were surrounded. Aliens of various species approached, weapons ready but wary. Humans stepped forward as well, their eyes sharp. "Identify yourselves," a tall alien demanded, its skin a deep blue, eyes glowing faintly. Aiden stepped forward. "I'm Aiden, a human mechanic. This is the Empire's new princess." He hesitated, expecting hostility, but continued. "We come seeking temporary shelter. We are not here to fight, only to survive." The princess stepped out beside him, her calm presence commanding attention. "I am the Empire's princess," she said clearly, "but I am here by choice. I trust this human, and I will remain with him. We are allies to those who respect freedom and life." The station fell silent for a moment, then murmurs rose among the aliens and humans alike. The tall alien studied her, then relaxed slightly. "You speak boldly, princess. Few have the courage to choose like this. We will allow you to stay. But know this: Imperial forces will come looking." Aiden nodded. "We know. That's why we need to plan." The next hours were filled with preparation. Aiden worked alongside station engineers, modifying ships, creating decoys, and preparing safe routes should the Empire arrive. The princess assisted as best she could, learning quickly and asking insightful questions. As night fell, Aiden led the princess to a quiet observation deck overlooking the station's docking bays. The twin suns had set, leaving the stars sparkling across the void. "Do they trust us?" she asked softly. "They're cautious," Aiden said. "But they see the truth. Humans can be clever, and you've shown courage by being here. That earns respect, even among outsiders." The princess smiled. "I am learning more than I imagined. About humans, about freedom, about trust." Their moment was interrupted by a sudden alert. Imperial sensors had found their location. Scouts were approaching quickly, faster than before. "They've tracked us," Aiden said, tension rising. "We need to act fast." The station's inhabitants moved quickly. Humans and aliens alike prepared defenses, set up decoy signals, and readied emergency protocols. Aiden directed small teams, sharing strategies that relied on human ingenuity and adaptation. The princess moved among them, encouraging and observing, her presence inspiring confidence. When the Imperial scouts arrived, they were met with confusion. Decoy signals, improvised defenses, and clever use of the station's layout kept them at bay. The fleet's weapons fired, but many attacks missed or were deflected. Aiden's drones moved swiftly, creating false heat signatures and mimicking the movements of larger ships. The scouts hesitated, unsure which targets were real. Each human tactic seemed to confound the Empire, forcing them to rethink every move. The princess watched closely, learning quickly. "Humans do not follow predictable patterns," she said, quietly to Aiden. "That is why you survive." Aiden smiled faintly. "We adapt, we improvise. That is how humans have survived for centuries." Hours passed, the battle tense but controlled. Finally, the Imperial scouts, frustrated and confused, pulled back. They transmitted warnings that reinforcements would arrive, but the station and its inhabitants had proven difficult to conquer. The princess exhaled, relief clear in her eyes. "They underestimated us," she said, "and that is their mistake." Aiden nodded. "It's not just luck. Humans think differently, act differently, and sometimes that makes all the difference." The station's leader, the tall blue alien, approached them once the immediate danger had passed. "You have proven yourselves," it said. "Humans are clever, and your princess, she has chosen well. We will help you prepare, for the Empire will not rest." Aiden glanced at the princess. Her eyes sparkled with determination and pride. "We will face them together," she said. "No matter what they bring." That night, as the station's inhabitants settled and the stars shone brightly outside, Aiden and the princess stood together on the observation deck. They had survived, but they both knew the real challenge was yet to come. "We cannot hide forever," Aiden said softly. "No," the princess replied, "but we can prepare, and we can show them that humans, and those who choose freedom, cannot be controlled." Aiden took her hand. "Then we do it together. No matter what the Empire sends, we will face it together." The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, reflecting the courage and determination of two beings from different worlds, one human, one royal, who had chosen each other and the path of defiance. And as the station hummed quietly around them, Aiden knew that the upcoming confrontation with the Empire would not just test their strength, but the cleverness and heart of humanity itself. Word count: 950. The station was quiet in the early morning, but Aiden knew it would not remain so for long. Imperial forces had sent word. A full fleet was approaching. The Empire would not forget that their princess had defied them. They expected submission. Humans and their allies had prepared for resistance, but Aiden felt the familiar tension in his chest. The princess stood beside him, her silver hair catching the pale light of the station. "Are you ready?" she asked. Her voice was calm, but determination shone in her eyes. Aiden nodded. "We have to be. They'll expect a fight, but they won't expect humans to act the way we do. That's our advantage." The station's inhabitants moved efficiently. Aliens and humans coordinated defenses, reinforced hulls, and positioned decoy drones throughout the docking bays. Aiden and the princess reviewed the plans one last time. Remember, she said softly, we survive with intelligence and courage. Do not rely on size or power alone. Aiden smiled faintly. That's human strategy. You'll see how it works. Soon, the Imperial fleet arrived, dark silhouettes against the stars. Red warning lights flashed as their weapons charged. The fleet's leader transmitted a message. Return the princess. Submit or be destroyed. Aiden clenched his fists. They don't understand humans. They won't predict what we're about to do. The princess stepped beside him. Then let's show them. The battle began. The Imperial fleet opened fire, but the station's defenses, guided by human and allied ingenuity, held strong. Drones darted through the fleet, creating false signatures, and automated defenses blocked incoming blasts. Small human-made engines gave the station mobility and agility, something the Empire had not anticipated. Aiden maneuvered the ship and guided drones, creating illusions of multiple ships attacking at once. Imperial commanders were confused. They fired at targets that were not real, wasting energy and time. The princess watched closely, giving advice based on her observations of human strategy. Predict their expectation, she said. Then act differently. Aiden nodded. Exactly. That's how humans survive. Hours passed, the battle tense but methodical. Every move by the Empire was countered with clever deception and strategy. The station's defenders worked tirelessly, showing ingenuity that larger fleets could not match. At one point, an Imperial warship broke through the outer defenses, targeting the station's control center. Aiden acted quickly, sending a small drone to create a decoy signal while he piloted a modified craft to intercept the ship. With precise maneuvers and clever timing, the Imperial ship was forced to retreat. The princess joined him in the cockpit. Clever, she said. Humans are unpredictable, and that is why you win. Aiden laughed softly. It's not about winning, it's about surviving and protecting what matters. That's human strength. As the sun rose across the asteroid field, the Imperial fleet began to retreat. Their scouts reported confusion, miscommunication, and unexpected losses. Aiden and the princess stood together on the observation deck, watching the retreating ships. They underestimated us, the princess said, and now they know humans cannot be controlled. Aiden felt a sense of pride. Humans had survived against impossible odds, not by brute force, but by cleverness, courage, and teamwork. And the princess had chosen to stand with him, defying the Empire for the first time in her life. The station's leader, the tall blue alien, approached them once more. You have proven yourselves, it said. Humans are remarkable. And your princess, she has chosen wisely. You have earned respect, not only from us, but from all who value freedom. The princess looked at Aiden. I have chosen you, she said simply. Not for power, not for convenience, but for who you are. Together, we face the future. Aiden took her hand, feeling the weight of their journey. The Empire was powerful, but humans were clever, resourceful, and brave. Together, they had survived where others would have failed. The station's inhabitants cheered softly as the immediate danger passed. Humans and aliens alike had learned that intelligence and courage could defy even the most powerful forces. Aiden realized that their story would be remembered, not for the might of their ships, but for the ingenuity and bravery of a human mechanic and the princess who chose him. The princess looked out at the stars, her eyes thoughtful. The Empire will come again, she said. But next time, they will think twice before underestimating humans. Aiden nodded. And we will be ready. Not because we are stronger, but because we are clever, brave, and willing to fight for what matters. They stood together on the observation deck, hand in hand, looking out into the vast expanse of space. The twin suns rose, casting light across the station, and a sense of peace settled over the colony. For now. The princess had chosen a path different from what the Empire expected. And Aiden. He had shown that humans, even simple humans, could change the course of events through courage, intelligence, and heart. For the first time, he allowed himself to hope. The Empire would come again, but they would not be alone. Humans, allies, and the princess. Together, they were stronger than anyone had imagined. And as the stars glimmered above, Aiden knew one truth with certainty. The princess would not let him go. And he would not let her face the galaxy alone. They had chosen each other, and nothing, even the Empire, could break that bond. Together, they looked forward to a future filled with challenges, adventure, and the remarkable courage of humanity shining brightly across the stars.